Welcome to the Battery Testing Mentor podcast, a podcast about battery testing, battery validation, battery safety, battery regulation. Fun topics that we go through or we walk through together. My name is Johannes and I am out of this industry for a long time and I'm happy to guide you through. If you have any questions, recommendations, any wishes for any topic, feel free to reach out to me via LinkedIn, via YouTube, or via answering on the email that I send out with every episode. I also put in the summary of the episode so you can decide if you want to listen to it or not. I mean, normally it's always worth listening, but I understand that time is sometimes tight. Today, I am very honored to have kind of this an interview, the guest here in the studio today, Liam Phelan, is visiting from High Performance Battery. He will give us an overview of what they are doing and how to really make a battery high performant. So today I'm very happy that we have another guest here in the Battery Testing Mentor podcast. Today, I welcome Liam Phelan. No, what was Liam Phelan?
Liam Phelan, yeah.
Liam Phelan. It's always difficult with the names we discussed about before when you're living in a different country and then people call you strange names.
Completely understandable, no problem.
Yeah. Liam, it's great to have you here. You are visiting us here from High Performance Battery. It's an honor to have you here. Do you want to give a short introduction about yourself and also High Performance Battery?
Yeah,
what are you doing?
Absolutely. So, first of all, thank you very much, Johannes, and thanks for the kind introduction. It's great to be here on the podcast. I know we've spoke over the last month or so about having some time to be able to do this podcast. So I'm really pleased and excited to be able to join you here today. A little bit about myself, as you can probably hear from my accent, although I'm based here in Germany. I'm actually originally from the UK, from the north of England in the UK. I've been here in Germany for the last 7 years, but prior to that, my background is really in operations, sales and account management, and has been for the last 15 years, where I've been responsible for operational and business growth. The early part of my career was actually within large corporations, but over the last 10 years or so, I've been working with business growth startups. Asking the question of why I'm here in Germany, actually, my wife is originally from Germany, so I convinced her to be able to stay in England for 15 years, and she convinced me to be able to come across to Germany, which didn't take too much convincing, to be honest. When I moved across to Germany, I had the opportunity to be able to work in the maritime industry. One of my key focus and key areas was really working in an industry and an area that focused on ESG, environmental, social, governance, and sustainability and innovation topics. So I spent 5 or 6 years working with a startup in Hamburg, really looking to be able to digitalize within that area, but with a key focus on innovation and sustainability. And that's something that's really been key to my career, I would say, over the last 10 years. And I had the opportunity to be able to work with High Performance Battery. Obviously, the battery technology that they're producing, or we're producing at the moment, is something that fits really with my values and my career steps. So I've come to join High Performance Battery as head of business development. So I've been with High Performance Battery since May this year. And I'm responsible for looking after all of the partnerships and new business and growing the corporate side of things with High Performance Battery. So that's a little bit about myself, about my role. Very briefly about High Performance Battery, because I know that we'll probably dive into that a little bit more as we go through the podcast. But High Performance Battery, HPB, is basically a technology developer for innovative batteries here in Germany. So it's exactly as it sounds. We're technology developer. We're not battery producers. We focus on stationary applications with our solid state battery, but we also provide our HPB solid state electrolyte as a single component to the automotive industry, that they can then use for installation in their battery systems. So with our solid state battery, which offers safety, huge, enormous battery cycle life, and up to 50% better environmental balance, we've basically created here at High Performance Battery a new basic technology that's for energy storage. That's what we've created. And like I said, I've come in to the role to really be able to drive that commercial element forward, acquiring new partners and new licenses, and expanding the presence into the market a little bit more.
Mhm. So, I mean, high performance battery, you said you are developing a technology.
Yeah,
The name hints to that it is about high performance batteries,
yeah,
I would guess.
yeah, absolutely.
um, do you want to tell a little bit what is so special about kind of your technologies that you have? What makes you different compared to all the others kind of battery developers that are out there?
Yeah, absolutely. So what makes us special at High Performance Battery? Actually, it was one of the questions that I was asking when I was looking to be able to join the team here. But in short, basically what we do is we're a production ready all solid state battery that's got the superior qualities that I mentioned before. So the longevity, sustainability, and safety obviously take center stage. Let's say so. Our technology is based on 30 years of basic research into fundamentally battery aging. So that's been the key area that we've been looking at. And we've succeeded in understanding and preventing the aging process that you often see in conventional lithium ion batteries. The fact that this also works in practice, we've proven with measurements on cells that have been cycled for, actually, it's been cycled for over 3 years under pretty harsh conditions. So 1C, 1C charge discharge with a 0 to 100% state of charge. So we've done that on over 12,500 charging cycles to date. We also have the basis of this is then patented. So we've patented our solid state electrolyte. So a new type of electrolyte that's basically characterized by its high ionic conductivity. And that's over a huge temperature range. So we've tested the temperature range from minus 40 to plus 60 degrees, which is far higher conductivity than conventional liquid organic electrolytes.
Now you have basically these kind of these technologies, but
Yeah.
you also build them into your cells that you test them in the end. But for these cells, you also take, I guess, then kind of standard material that you just combine with your proprietary ideas.
And we have two approaches, so to say, that we have
Mm.
our two routes into market. We have our battery cell production that we actually have, where we will look to be able to use our research to be able to build the cells that will go out to our production partners that they can use our technology. But we also have a second part of the roadmap where we have our solid state electrolyte that can actually be used by the motor industry, so the EV industry, where they would look to be able to use our technology, our electrolyte technology, to be able to build within their cell modules that are there as well.
Mm. How did your founders get to this idea? Like, I mean, basically developing a new electrolyte. Okay, it
Yeah,
is clear, kind of it makes sense. In the battery industry, you constantly need the new materials.
yeah.
But why exactly that, and why kind of this type, like where you go into the solid state and then, I mean, it's a very special production process, as I understood,
Yeah.
that is completely different to what normally is done with these solid state electrolytes. Do you know kind of the history of this idea?
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a couple of points there within your question in terms of the whole production process is completely different. That's actually one of the things that's key to us is that the production process isn't completely different to the standard
Mm.
lithium ion production. But in terms of how we got the idea, see the we as collective, it wasn't actually anything to do with myself, but our founder
Yeah.
basically got to this idea, Gunther, by coincidence. So he spent a lot of time looking into the research and asking the questions really of the key questions, nothing really to be able to do with solid state batteries, but the questions of why do batteries age? Do
Mm.
batteries have to age? Can the battery aging be solved at its chemical root? So these really are the questions that have driven the research right from the beginning. And with the solution, I would say it was coincidental. The solution, we then accidentally stumbled across the delivery of solid state electrolyte. So that was really our penicillin moment. So we
Mm.
never really actually set ourselves the goal of developing a solid state battery. It was really pure coincidence because we were looking to be able to answer those questions of why do batteries age? Why do batteries have to
Mm.
age? So there are, I would say, numerous research groups and other companies and firms worldwide that are working on the development of a solid state battery. So that's really where their starting point was to be able to develop a solid state battery. And the core issue of that is to be able to replace the current liquid electrolyte, so the basis for battery aging, for fire and explosion hazards, with a solid state electrolyte. And these approaches require a solid state electrolyte to be produced outside of the battery cell and then really have to overcome the hurdles of physics, where ours is a little bit different. And this is where we're talking about the production process as well, is that our technology, on the other hand, takes advantages of the chances of chemistry. And our
Mm.
electrolyte, so our solid state electrolyte, is formed directly in the battery cell from solid and liquid starting material. So this really avoids the key production problems that we see a lot of the time in solid state battery production. So the use of the liquid raw materials has another really key decisive advantage. It makes it possible to be able to use, as I mentioned at the start of this question, the established production technology for the battery cell
Mm.
production. So we can use that, and that really sets us apart. And we can use that technology that's already used in the manufacturing of conventional lithium-ion batteries with electrolytes. So this means that the production of our solid-state battery can be scaled up without the need to completely develop new production technologies. So
Mm.
that's really one of the differentiators from our side of things.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, if I have it right in my mind, you still have kind of this, or this specialty about your thing is really that you combine or basically build the battery, and then you have to activate the solid state electrolyte
Exactly. Yeah,
by some kind of adding
that's
some
correct. Yeah.
something
So
to it, some
Yeah, so
magic
so
substance.
this is the magic sauce, so to say,
Yeah.
the secret sauce that's there. You're absolutely right. Where from traditional battery processes, and we talked about the element of physics versus the elements of chemistry that's there.
Mm.
A lot of the time, existing battery producers are trying to be able to build that outside of the cell, whereas from our side of things, that takes place within the cell. And we have something called our drop-in process, where we follow a very similar production process that's there, but we then have our secret sauce, so to say, that is then dropped in.
Mm.
Part of the process that solidifies that battery cell. But that means that we're able to keep the majority of that production process exactly the same.
Mhm. So now you talked about the technology. What is your status at the moment? Is that you're testing already since 3 years
Yeah,
some cells?
yeah.
So is it kind of usable? Can you sell this technology already, or are you still kind of fine tuning?
No, this is. I mean, fine tuning. I think that will always happen.
Mm.
We're battery technology
that's true.
innovators. So that's always gonna happen. That's there. But from our side of things, you're absolutely right, and this is one of the reasons why I've also joined the company as well, to be able to help commercialize and to be able to drive the next stage of the business forward. So we are now ready for serious production, and this is also part of my role now, where we're looking to be able to work with licensees. That's our business model. We'll come on to this a little bit later, to be able to license our technology from a production and from a distribution point of view. So yeah, we, like I said, innovation will continue to evolve, and will go at pace. But from our side of things, we're now at that point where we are in conversations, and we are driving forward partnerships on that licensing model for worldwide production.
Yeah. Okay. Very fascinating. I think it's a super exciting stage to be in.
It is.
Also, I guess at the moment, with this kind of little bit insecure situation in the battery industry, you are probably facing also a lot of questions and challenges, because everybody wants to be super safe, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's an interesting time in the marketplace at the moment. From our side of things, obviously what's been happening over the last 3-4 years or so, there's a lot of questions that are being asked about, especially within the technology of solid state batteries. But actually, from my side of things, this also puts us in quite a nice situation where, one of the challenges that we've already spoke about is being able to take that production to serious stage, to be able to take it to mass production. And we have, with our approach, with our drop-in approach, we have the answers to that. A lot of the questions that we are facing now are great for us, because we're able to explain what our technology is, what it does, and how it differentiates. And yeah, it's an exciting time. We spoke just before the start of the podcast how December is busy. It has been like that for the last 3 or 4 months, at least from my side of things, as the industry is starting to be able to ask lots of questions and be able to diversify a little bit. But from our side of things, we've got a lot of interesting conversations that are taking place at the moment that's going to really help push us on, so to say.
Yeah, that's good. Maybe to wrap this up also, like, your business model is then to basically sell this technology to the big battery manufacturers, and they put it into their cells in the end, right?
Yeah, so as I mentioned before, we and this is really the key bit from high performance battery in terms of our business model. We're solely the battery technology developer, so we're not the producers, and we're not the distributors. So we don't manufacture the batteries ourselves, but our business model is to be able to grant technology licenses. So our battery technology is licensed to manufacturers and to distributors worldwide. And that's done by application and geography. So these companies then that we're working with, and this is something that's really key to our DNA, as well as working with the right partners that are out there, that we can work in partnership to be able to drive that sustainability in the market. And these companies then independently fulfill the demand for our technology, whether that's in their field of application and their markets, to be able to really together shape the energy transition as efficiently as possible. So backed up with that as well, we have a unique approach, I would say, in terms of our rollout, and that we've already filed for patents in 96 countries as well, which obviously from our partners' point of view, whether that's manufacturing or distribution, that's something that's really fantastic to be able to have in the back pocket, to be able to have the application of the 96 patents that are there.
This was the first part of the interview with Liam Phelan. We are continuing in 2 weeks with the second part, where we dive deeper into the testing aspects. I'm very looking forward to that part of the interview, and I'm hoping you too. And until then, I wish you a great 2 weeks ahead, and see you soon here next time at the Battery Testing Mentor podcast.